This evening, first, tragedy strikes in Georgetown as a young attorney is found dead in his car, sparking a police investigation into an alleged murder. We'll bring you the latest details. Next, President Ali takes swift action to address security concerns at Border Market after vendors voice fear of rising crime. Find out what steps the government is taking to protect local businesses. Then, a fatal crash on the Garden of Eden public road claims the life of a minibus driver. We'll have the full details of the story as police continue their investigation into the three-vehicle collision. Also, in a shocking case of robbery and murder, a Mocha man is brutally attacked by teens he thought were friends. We'll reveal how the crime unfolded and the ongoing search for one suspect still on the run. And in Argentina, a religious pilgrimage turns political as thousands of Catholics march in the face of economic hardship. What does this mean for the country's future? Stay tuned for all these stories and more coming up on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for August 8, 2024. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, police are investigating the alleged murder of 35-year-old attorney at law Richard Lane, who was found dead in his car at his home in Century Palm Gardens, Durban Backlands, Georgetown on Wednesday night. Lane's cousin, Michael Harding, who was with him earlier in the evening, stated that they had gone to Starbucks at Movietown before returning to Lane's home around 7:15 p.m. Harding left around 8:17 p.m. after ensuring the house and yard gates were locked. Later, around 11 p.m., Lane's housemate, Police Sergeant Tony Sulker, noticed Lane in his car slumped and motionless. When he saw this, he immediately ran outside and attempted to open the car doors, but they were all locked. He contacted Lane's mother and they both tried opening the car doors on her arrival, but were unsuccessful. Sulker said Lane's mother instructed him to break the driver's side door glass, which he did using a hammer. Then they observed that Lane appeared to be bleeding from a wound in his neck. As a result, they called an ambulance and also contacted the police. Lane was pronounced dead at the scene. The police have launched an investigation, including reviewing CCTV footage from the area. The body has been taken to the Memorial Gardens Funeral Home for a post-mortem examination. In other news, police are investigating a fatal accident that occurred early Wednesday morning around 4:30 a.m. on the Garden of Eden public road, East Bank Demerara, resulting in the death of 35-year-old minibus driver Keith Caesar from Northeast Le Penitence, Georgetown. The accident involved three vehicles: a minibus driven by Caesar, a motor car driven by 35-year-old Keon King of Hyder Park to Mary, and a hire car driven by 30-year-old Vishnu Basio from Martisville, East Coast Demerara. According to reports, the motor car driven by King was traveling south when it suddenly swerved and collided with Caesar's minibus, which was traveling north at high speed. The impact caused the minibus to overturn several times, while the motor car spun out of control and collided with the hire car following behind. Emergency services responded and Caesar was transported to the Diamond Diagnostic Center, where he later succumbed to his injuries. King, the driver of the motor car, was critically injured and admitted to Georgetown Public Hospital. Basio, the hire car driver, was arrested and is currently in police custody, assisting with the ongoing investigation. Moving on, police are investigating the robbery and murder of 33-year-old Kenneth Sugo of Mocha, East Bank Demerara, who was attacked and killed around 10 p.m. on Tuesday at Vredenrust, East Bank Demerara. Sugo was driving his black Toyota Allion along with his 23-year-old Venezuelan girlfriend, Fernanda Perez, when they picked up two acquaintances, 19-year-old Louis Anglade and Jose Arlan. The group drove to Vredenrust, where the two teens, armed with knives, attacked Sugo, stabbing him multiple times. Sugo managed to escape the car, but later succumbed to his injuries. The suspects turned their attack on Perez, who also sustained injuries but managed to flee. The attackers then stole the vehicle and a shoulder bag containing cash and documents. They later crashed the car in Little Diamond and fled. Sugo was pronounced dead at the Diamond Diagnostic Center, where it was revealed that he had sustained 19 stab wounds. Perez was treated for her injuries. Police later apprehended Harlan, who was found with Sugo's belongings, including cash and all three cell phones. He was handed over to the police after being assaulted by citizens. The second suspect, Anglade, remains at large. According to reports, the teens usually give Sugo U.S. currency to send to their families in Venezuela. An investigation is in progress. Stick around when we return. President Ali announces swift action to improve security and infrastructure for border market vendors, and small contractors enhance skills and community through government road projects.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
See clearly with the digital sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common Smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali has announced plans to improve security and infrastructure for vendors at Border Market in Georgetown following complaints of neglect by City Council on Wednesday. During a walkabout, vendors expressed concerns about robberies and the lack of security, particularly from motorcycle bandits, which they say the City Council has ignored. In response, President Ali assured that the government would take swift action, including establishing a police outpost and installing cameras to monitor the market. A police outpost at Border Market was installed just hours after the president's visit. The Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development has been tasked with improving the market's infrastructure. The president said the government is considering a construction of a market tarmac and a huge shed to house vendors. The president also criticized the City Council for failing to manage garbage disposals and maintain security, stating that the government would step in to provide necessary relief. The president noted that this intervention is part of the government's ongoing efforts to address issues in Georgetown that have been neglected by the City Council. Moving on, small contractors in Georgetown are benefiting from new skills and knowledge after the government awarded them over $1 billion in road construction contracts. These projects, awarded to persons in the various fields of Sophia, Greater Georgetown, aim to improve local infrastructure and uplift the community. In April, Vice President Dr. Bartraglio awarded these contracts during a community meeting. Minister of Public Works Deodat Indar and Minister of Public Affairs Kwame McCoy have since inspected the progress and engaged with the contractors. Minister Indar explained that about 50 more roads are remaining to be constructed in Bayfield, Sophia. However, a further pronouncement is to be made by the Vice President on those roads. Minister McCoy emphasized the government's commitment to building local capacity and creating employment opportunities through such projects, reinforcing the government's role in supporting community development. Meanwhile, the contractors expressed appreciation to the government for seeing the potential of small contractors like themselves and allowing them to aid in developing their own community. Don't go away after the break. East Asia heatwave. Scores of people dying of suspected heat stroke, and Mohammed Yunus heads home to lead Bangladesh interim government.
Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Beccaphonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. The Dominican Republic's National Drug Control Directorate intercepted an attempt to smuggle cocaine to the United States through a postal system. In collaboration with the Dominican Postal Institute and the Public Prosecutor's Office, authorities seized 23 sheets of cocaine weighing about 400 grams, concealed in packages bound for Florida. The drugs were hidden in false compartments within boxes containing toys and beauty salon equipment. The packages, sent from Boca Chica, were addressed to West Palm Beach, Florida. An investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, in South America, a religious pilgrimage is taking on extra meaning in Argentina. Economic challenges have added a political dimension as thousands of Catholics made their way to church in the capital. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bowe reports.
Long lines of people waiting outside the San Cayetano Sanctuary in Buenos Aires. He's the patron saint of bread and work in a country where poverty and unemployment are on the rise. Susana Núñez says she's concerned about the current situation in Argentina.
I'm here so that we can improve, so that our future, our children, don't have to leave here for what they need. For all of them, so they don't go hungry or cold. Because Argentina is such a rich country, so rich, and yet we have to endure such hardships that our children are leaving. That's why I come.
Every year, thousands of people attend the Mass, but this time it was different. Labor unions and left-wing groups decided to march from the parish towards the presidential palace to protest against the government of Javier Milei.
Protests like this one are happening almost every week in Buenos Aires as the government continues to push to implement an austerity program. Latest independent studies show that around 55% of the population are poor. This means that around 25 million people are struggling to make ends meet.
Since taking office 8 months ago, Milei has ordered the layoff of almost 50,000 state employees, halted all public works, lifted subsidies on electricity, gas and transportation, among other measures to bring down the deficit to zero and reduce inflation.
Our salaries are not enough because everything seems to be going up in price. I come here to find people who have things in common with me.
Economists say an austerity plan was necessary in Argentina to stabilize the economy, but there are concerns about when the economy will start to recover.
What we see is a sharp drop in people's incomes, pensions, registered and informal workers, a drop that we have not seen since the crisis in 2001, and that generated a recession that obviously helps the country to reduce inflation, but it is a concern. It has started to recover, but continues to be very slow.
Javier Milei came to power with a promise to reform Argentina's economy. But there are growing concerns about what will happen if he fails. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
Internationally, countries in East Asia are experiencing an unprecedented heat wave, with scores of people dying of suspected heat stroke. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports.
Like these children in the Chinese city of Shanghai, people across Northeast Asia are finding different ways to get through this punishing heat wave. Soaring temperatures have set a daily record for maximum demand on the power grid as this city of 25 million people tries to keep cool. In Japan, the heat wave has proved deadly, with more than 100 people dying of suspected heat stroke in Tokyo in July, a month that recorded the country's hottest day since records began. With temperatures this year more than 2 degrees above average, the authorities have set up cooling centres and mist spraying stations for tourists and local people alike.
After spending 2 hours standing here, I get so sweaty. I can literally squeeze out the sweat from my shirt.
In Japanese schools, children and their teachers are also suffering.
Children can no longer do what they used to do, like playing in the schoolyard. This is the reality of school life today.
While inside some older schools, a lack of insulation means air conditioning systems strain to keep classrooms cool enough. In South Korea, Seoul has activated its special situation room to coordinate efforts. And street cleaning trucks are being used to cool road surfaces to keep temperatures down, especially in the cities. For more than 2 weeks, Seoul, like many other major cities, has endured the so-called tropical night phenomenon, with nighttime temperatures staying consistently above 25 degrees Celsius, and with this heat wave set to continue for at least another week. In North Korea, unprecedented summer rains have caused extensive flooding along its border with China and prompted leader Kim Jong-un to dispatch thousands of volunteers to help in what state media calls a revolutionary construction campaign. Back in Seoul, the success of one farmer in finally growing bananas after 10 years of cultivation seems to point to a changing climate.
The fact that bananas are produced in Seoul means the climate is becoming subtropical.
And once this heat wave is over, the question for South Korea and its neighbours is what next summer might bring. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
Finally, Mohammed Yunus, the Nobel Peace Laureate tapped to lead an interim government in Bangladesh, has called for calm as he boarded a flight to return home a day before his new government is expected to be sworn in to replace the post-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Al Jazeera's Tanvir Chowdhury reports.
In an unprecedented event in Bangladesh, student protesters led a revolution and toppled an authoritarian government. It came at a cost, though. Hundreds were killed. And now people want justice and accountability. Babul Sardar's son, Jisan Ahmed, was selling water during one of the demonstrations when police opened fire, killing the 25-year-old. A week later, the young man's wife killed herself.
I want justice for the murder of my son and also for those students and other innocent people who were killed. I want an investigation by the United Nations who will provide justice because our judicial system has failed us.
In recent days, there has been widespread vandalism and looting of homes and businesses belonging to the leaders of the former governing party. Rights groups are also concerned by reports of attack targeting Hindus. Traditionally, the minority community supports the Awami League Sheikh Hasina's party. Student volunteers are working with the military to restore law and order. Many Bangladeshis say they hope this will be an era of political stability. Worried about their safety, many police officers are staying home.
Because there are no traffic police officers, we're helping as volunteers to manage the traffic on the road. So there are no bottlenecks and people respect the rules on the road.
On Wednesday, in her first public speech since 2018, Khaleda Zia, a former Prime Minister and chairperson of the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party, addressed a rally in Dhaka via video link. Zia called for peace instead of revenge in order to rebuild the country.
For the students who gave up on their dreams by getting involved in bloodshed, we will fulfill those dreams. Students have shown great intellect, courage and bravery while fighting, which will help us in making Bangladesh a republic.
Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus will lead the interim government. He has urged Bangladeshis to get ready to build the country. But the country has a way to go, and his interim government will likely face many challenges in the coming weeks and months. Tanvir Chowdhury, Al Jazeera, Dhaka.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it TV2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 5:30 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.